Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a video about how to make friends, do's and don'ts for making friends. As you know, I have moved a lot. I will link the playlist here of all of my homes that I've had. It is an epic 3-part series. That is how much I have moved. We've moved to different countries, we've moved to different areas, and I have had to make friends along the way. So this video is, I guess, aimed at other immigrants like myself, moving to a brand new country and having to make friends, or if you're just moving to a new area or changing your life. You might go from working full-time to being a stay-at-home mom and wanting to find friends with whom you have things in common. I also wanted to say that I am very much an introvert. I need a lot of time alone. I can socialize with pretty much anybody, but it takes it out of me. So this is not a video coming from someone who is a social butterfly or an extrovert and finds it super easy to just dive in and connect with loads of people. That's where I'm coming from, and you may be able to relate, and that can sometimes make making friends a little harder, but it's not impossible. You might just have to put in a little bit more effort. My first do is get involved with the community, with church, with clubs, with anything that's going on in your area. You can find these sort of events and clubs on Facebook groups, or ask around. If you at the library, ask the librarian, are there things going on in the community? Anything that you're remotely interested in, join a club. You don't have to stick with the club long term if it's not for you, but it's a way of getting out there and meeting people who enjoy the same things as you. I'm part of a camera club. I am kind of available to volunteer for community events in my village, although I'm not able to help out as much as I would like to. I'm active at church. I have in the past started my own book club. So if there aren't clubs that interest you, just start your own. Who knows, there might be someone in your area who is also interested in that thing. If you'd like me to make a separate video on how I started up and ran my book club so that I didn't have to be in charge of it every single week, let me know and I will make a separate video on that. I have made some of my best friends through church in particular, so getting involved in community things in your area is definitely a do. My first don't is aimed at immigrants specifically, and don't let a language barrier hold you back from making friends. What better way to practice your new language than with a new friend? Just swallow your pride. Yes, you probably don't speak it perfectly, you probably have an accent, but you just have to do it. If you let that hold you back, it's going to be harder and harder to actually break out of that and make friends. So swallow your pride, like I said. Be prepared to make mistakes. Through making mistakes, you'll find out who is actually going to be a good friend and who isn't. If someone is patient with you, who helps you with your language, that can create a bond. If somebody laughs at you or is impatient with you, they're not going to be a friend. So it's quite a good way of cutting through all of the surface stuff and getting to know who's going to be a good friend to you. Do say yes to every invitation. This for me was particularly hard because we were in a brand new country. That was a lot to kind of process and deal with. We'd come off 2 years of major stress trying to immigrate. We'd finally done it, and then Grant went away for 4.5 months and I was on my own, and I just wanted to retreat and kind of process everything that had happened and get through it. But I forced myself to say yes to every invitation. You are not going to meet people and make friends if you don't get out there, and you have to sometimes push yourself to do that. If someone invites you to their house for dinner, say yes. If someone invites you to go for a walk, say yes. If someone says, oh, there's kids playgroup at the library on a Tuesday morning, say yes. Just say yes to every single invitation. If someone has gone out of their way to extend the invitation to you, accept it. And I know it's hard and it was exhausting for me, but it was worth it. You really have to make those connections, preferably sooner rather than later when you've moved to a new area. Build up your group, and those invitations may start to tail off. You'll no longer be the new person, and people will assume that you've settled in and made your friends, and they may stop inviting you. So if you receive an invitation, say yes. Don't take it personally if you don't hit it off with somebody, or if you don't manage to insert yourself into their group of friends. Even if you're trying really hard, people tend to be in their little comfort zones. They make their friend groups and they move along. Think about when you lived in your previous area before you immigrated or before you moved. Did you even notice a new immigrant or a new person in the neighborhood? Chances are you didn't. Maybe you just were going about your own little life, or you may have noticed them or been aware of them or been friendly to them, but not actually understood how badly they needed a friend and to make connections. So don't take it personally if nobody notices your situation. If you're finding it hard to make friends and connect with people, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're not somebody worthy of being friends with. It just means you haven't found your person yet. Just keep trying. Don't take it personally. It's like applying for a bunch of jobs, I guess. You can't take it personally. You're just not the right fit for that company, and eventually the right position will become available to you. Just keep trying and believe that you are worth being friends with. Do be positive, interested, and open and curious. It's very easy to get sucked into your own little world. I need to make friends. I'm experiencing all of these things. This has been overwhelming for me. We've just moved, we've just immigrated, whatever. But be interested in the people around you. If you get something on free cycle, strike up a conversation with the person when you go and collect it. They may also be a new immigrant who's in exactly the same position as you. When you're getting your groceries, chat to the checkout lady. When you're at the library, talk to the librarian. Just be open and friendly and strike up a conversation with anyone who comes along, because you never know who's going to end up being your next best friend. Be curious, be interested, ask them questions about the area, ask them questions about themselves. Obviously not in like a creepy, intrusive, not appropriate manner, but you can ask people, have you lived in this area long? What are your favorite things to do around here? Where are your favorite places to eat? Just be friendly and interested and ask questions. Don't wait for others to make the first move or to greet you or to extend invitations to you. Yes, you're the new person who's landed in this new place, but you can be the person to go and introduce yourself and invite other people to things and be the one to initiate contact. Don't just wait for someone to come along and do it to you. Do create momentum. Let's say you meet somebody and they come over and chat to you at church and you think, oh, I really like that person, we seem to have a lot in common. Keep the momentum going. Don't just assume, oh, I'll see them next week at church and maybe eventually we'll be friends. Be the one to say, hey, do you want to go for a walk this week? Or do you want to show me your favorite part of the local park? Or something like that. Be the one to initiate the next contact or to set up the next time you're going to see the person. Create that momentum rather than just waiting for it to happen. Because like I said, you may be the new person and you may be a novelty and people may speak to you for a while and then you stop being the new person and that interest may kind of tail off as people are busy and they just go about their normal life. So create the momentum, set up the next time that you're going to see them, create events to get together, look for local things in your community. Say that there's a fun run or there's a market, arrange to meet up at the market or arrange to do something. Even if you suggest it and they don't want to do it, they will see that you're interested in getting together again. Or they may say, oh, the markets aren't really good, I've stopped going, but I prefer to do such and such on a Saturday, why don't you join us? Don't just think that making new friends is all about you. You want a friend, you want to make connections, you want somebody interesting or helpful or whatever to come into your life. Don't just focus on that. Focus on yourself. Why should anyone be friends with you? What do you have to offer? Are you a good friend? Are you helpful? Are you enthusiastic? Do you have anything to offer? Focus on that. Make a good friend of yourself and then other people will want to be friends with you. Do make yourself available. It's really easy once you move into a new area to be so consumed with getting the kids settled in school and setting up accounts everywhere. You have to go register at the library and the doctor, and maybe you have plans to visit certain places in the area and you are trying to establish your new routine or whatever, but make room in your life for friendships. If somebody says to you, hey, let's get together on Tuesday and have coffee, are you busy on Tuesday? If you consistently are too busy, then those invitations are going to tail off. So make sure to allow room in your schedule for socializing and for new friendships to develop. If someone extends an invitation to you or wants to get together or suggests something and you are busy on that day, suggest a different day. Make yourself available. Say, oh, I can't do Tuesday morning. Is there any other day that week, or Thursday works for me, or whatever. But make sure that it still happens. Don't just let it die out at that point. Make yourself available at another time. This one is aimed particularly at immigrants. Don't just seek out other expats from your country. It's good to have friends like that in your group of friends because they really get where you come from and they get what you're going through. But don't just limit yourself to other expats. Open yourself to the people of the area, to expats from different countries, to locals, to people who've moved into your area from another part of the country. Yes, their ways may be different to you and they may not kind of get where you come from culturally, but people are people. You can make connections with people even if they come from a completely different background, and you will actually be a better person for it. Your experience will be richer the more diversity that you can add into your relationships. And then my last tip is do be patient. It can feel really lonely and really discouraging if it takes a while to make friends, but just keep trying and be patient. It can really take time for friendships to solidify and for new friends to become old friends. Even if you make new friends quickly, they are different to old friends. I get it. Having a history behind you does count for something, but it will come with time, so just be patient. Spend as much time as you can with your new friends because that can progress your relationship and that can forge bonds. When you start to have real meaningful experiences with your new friends, somebody supports somebody else through something stressful, whether you supporting them or they supporting you, you experience something together, you experience something really funny that happens. Those are the things that create that history and form those bonds. So try to spend as much time as you can with your new friends and they will more quickly become old friends. Those are my do's and don'ts, but I did also want to leave one last thought, and that is to maintain your friendships with the people you left behind. I know it's different. It's not the same when there's distance between you. It can be really complicated. There can be feelings of resentment on their part that you've left and feelings of guilt on your part that you've left. Or maybe you're in the reverse situation and you're wanting to make new friends because your friends have left you. Don't let that get in the way of the valuable friendship that you have had. Try and stay in touch with phone calls or Skype or messages, however you need to. Just touch in with your friends. Those friendships are worth something, and don't just let them go because you're apart. Those are my tips. If you are planning on moving to New Zealand, I do have a Moving to New Zealand Facebook group, which apparently has been quite helpful to almost 3,000 people, and there have been some real connections made in that group of people planning to move to New Zealand, and they're all in the same situation. Their timelines may be different, their families may be different, their areas may be different, but they're kind of going through the same thing, and they've been able to make connections, and there's friendships that have formed there that will be carried through once they've actually moved to New Zealand. So I urge you to join that group if you are interested in getting to know other people who are in your situation as you plan to move here. I hope some of these tips have been helpful. If you have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. Maybe you can help other people who watch this video to find friends as well. I'd love to hear you share your experiences. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.